Hey, buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Kilbin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and these are the 10 best rare cards to craft in the One Night in Karazhan standard format meta. Starting off with number 10, it is the Shaman spell Lightning Storm. This is a 3 mana area of effect spell that essentially gives any kind of non-aggro shaman the answer they need to contest their opponent's board in a very efficient spell that only delays them a little at regaining the board and asserting their dominance. With the number 9 spot, we head over to Warlock and the 5 mana Doom Guard. This is one of the best 5 mana minions in the game, and just so happens to fit the very prominent and popular Zoo archetype perfectly as the big finisher it needs to win games. At the number 8 spot, it's the Frothing Berserker, the 3 mana warrior minion that ends up being one of the scariest cards in the game because you never really know just how big it's going to get, and that has made it a staple across a variety of metagames throughout the history of Hearthstone. For the number 7 spot, it's the Priest card, Arcane Soul Priest. This is one of the best designed cards in the game as far as I'm concerned. It has a very interesting effect in that all your healing effects actually turn into damaging effects instead, meaning your hero power hits for 2. Circle of Healing is suddenly a 0 mana flame strike that can wipe out your entire opponent's board, but also yours. But all in all, Arcane Soul Priest is a staple among control priest archetypes, and even though priest might not be that popular in this meta right now, this is still a staple card for the class that is going to be played for the foreseeable future as it is a part of the classic set. The number 6 spot belongs to SI7 Agent, the 3 mana rogue minion that is really the ultimate early game tempo and board control card. It fits rogue fantastically in what it tries to accomplish, and it's really one of the best 3 mana minion options in the game. So if you're looking to play rogue ever in the future, there's a very good chance this card is going to be a part of your list. At the number 5 spot, it's the Hunter minion Savannah Highmane. This card might be a rare, but it plays a lot more like a legendary just because there's so much raw value packed into this card. And anything but the most aggressive kinds of hunter, there's almost always a spot for Savannah Highmane in your deck list. And this is a card that can make even an average collection suddenly very powerful. For the 4 remaining spots, we're moving to neutral cards. Now, it may seem like some of these cards aren't quite as strong as the previous cards on the list from a raw power standpoint, but I am giving neutral cards a bonus in this list, merely because they can be played across a variety of classes. So if you're looking to get the most bang for your dust, then these cards are going to provide that. And at the number 4 spot, it's Wild Pyromancer. This card is one of those that may not seem like all that much at a surface level, but its effect is so strong and so all-encompassing that it usually finds a way to be played in a wide variety of decks. Since you're able to affect the entire board and just at the cast of a spell, this tends to work out with a ton of decks that need early game removal or perhaps even need to damage their own minions, making Wild Pyromancer a surprisingly flexible and desirable card to have in your collection. And now it's time for the top 3 with another rare 2-drop in the Knife Juggler. This card is so darned good that even after being nerfed by Blizzard, being taken from 3 attack down to 2 attack, it still sees play in a wide variety of aggro-style decks. Anybody that wants to have a threatening minion that gets better with a board is going to play Knife Juggler. It's synonymous with frustration and RNG effects that tend to win games, and that's just because it's so dominant on the board. If you're able to stick it and play additional minions, Knife Juggler gets out of hand very, very quickly and serves as a surprisingly large threat for only a 2 mana 2/2, making him perfect for your collection. And now for the number 2 card, it is Defender of Argus. This 4-drop may not look like much at a surface level with only 2/3 in stats, but he has a very powerful battle cry in that he buffs 2 adjacent minions, each of them getting an additional attack and health, and giving them taunt, which might just be the most important part of this card. The great thing about Defender of Argus is that he's somehow played in both aggressive style decks like Zoo, who have a tendency to build a board and then want to leverage that board with an instant buff and taunts that Defender of Argus can provide, but he's also played in really late game control style decks like the History of Handlock, for instance, on the other side of Zoolock, in which he gives big minions taunt to help you set up a giant wall of taunts that your opponent just can't push through. So he's flexible, he's powerful, he's immediately impactful on the board, and he fits in a variety of decks, making him a wonderful addition to anyone's collection. And then there was one, the very best rare card to craft in Hearthstone as far as I'm concerned, is the 5-mana Azure Drake. This is really the ultimate Hearthstone minion. It just seems to fit in almost any deck. It has so many different effects, it's got okay stats for its cost, it's got cool artwork. It's like the ultimate Hearthstone card, right? It's got spell damage +1, so it fits in any deck that has spells. It draws you a card, which is fantastic, of course, as you can cycle through your hand. It's a dragon, so there's all kinds of dragon synergies that it fits into as well. Plus, as a 4/4, it's got reasonable stats that your opponent has to find a way to deal with. So it just does a little bit of everything. It fits into so many different kinds of decks. It's like if you need a card to add to a deck and you can't figure out what card that might be, there's a good chance an Azure Drake will fit into the deck. Unless it's a super aggressive hyper-face deck, Azure Drake can find a home in any other deck in Hearthstone. And since it's sort of a jack-of-all-trades, do-anything card, fit-anywhere minion, I think it's the most valuable rare card to craft in the entire game. And that'll do it for my list. Those are my 10 best rare cards to craft in Hearthstone right now. I'm sure some of you think I'm crazy, or that I got the order all wrong, or that I forgot some amazing card. That's possible. I'm human. If you do think those things, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the best rare cards as well. But until then, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, game on.